Okay, friend. So I'm back and I want to talk about maintaining the relationship with God. We talked about like where it all stemmed from. We talked about how I even knew I needed a relationship. Now I want to tell you how I maintain mine. I'm not telling you to maintain yours this way. Something that Pastor Kevin Galloway used to say is I don't need you to think like me. I just want you to think. And I love that. You know what I'm saying? And take that with this. Um but yeah, so the first way is something that I already enjoy doing. So I like to write. I love to write my thoughts out. So I journal. I love to write little short like stories and ideas. I never post them, but I always am thinking about them or writing them out. Like I just like writing. You know what I'm saying? So I write a prayer out every morning. I start my day off with a prayer journal and talking to God, thanking Him for being Him, giving Him praise and honor, um, asking Him, to be with me. Something I say in every single prayer is, be with us today. Us is me and my son and I, however that needs to go for you to understand it. But it's my son and I ask God to be with us. I ask Him to go before us in the day to make sure that we can get through the path and then follow behind us, to cover our backs or whatever. It's something I say in every single prayer. But I talk to God every morning for a few minutes. It could be, I can take up a half a page, I could take up 2, 3 pages, but I'm going to have that time. I remember at one point in doing this, I was like, okay, I've been doing this and it's cool, so I don't gotta do it today. And I wasn't going to. So I'm like, So I wasn't going to. And it was a short amount of time. It might have been like 45 minutes into my day. It just felt shitty, Ain't no other way to put it. It felt really shitty. So I was like, oh, I'm about to let me sit down and pray. Let me put this phone away, sit down and pray. And I realized it's something I need. It's something I needed, and it just made me feel connected. You know what I'm saying? The end of 2024, maybe the third or fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? Somewhere in there, I remember hearing God start to tell me it's time for you to get back into community. It's time for you to get back with people who believe in me. So I started going to this women's Bible study through the Good Church. It was amazing, and they're still going. I just didn't make it back, and so I don't want to pop up in the middle of this series. So I'm gonna try to keep my eyes peeled for when they start a new one, so I can hop back in there. But it was amazing to sit in that room with those ladies. And I remember the first night I went, I talked about this in my podcast, but the first night I went, I go in there and I'm like, I don't know if I'm really supposed to be here. Like, God, is this where I'm supposed to be? So we're doing introductions, and the lady to one side of me, her name is Jordan. My name is Jordan. And the lady to the other side, no, okay. But okay, so the lady to one side of me had my name, and the lady to the other side of me, her name is Sheila, and that's my mom's name. And I was like, okay, Lord, that's definitely a sign for me to sit my ass right here and stay in this Bible study. So I did that first, and then it was something on me to start going back to church in person. I was going online, watching NTC, where Kevin Galloway is the pastor, and enjoying his series and, church as a whole. So I was like, you know what? I should start going back in person. And I've been back to church in person almost every Sunday. I think I might have missed 1 or 2 Sundays of being back in person this year, which is a big deal for me. The consistency is a big deal for me. So, and I've been enjoying that, just being in a room with other people, seeing how other people take to my son, like just being back in that space feels good. And I say take to my son. My son is 5. He's autistic. And sometimes that presents a worry in me to how people are going to respond to him. But going back to church has been beautiful in helping me maintain the relationship I have with God. And the third way that I've been maintaining that relationship is a devotional. I picked up a 52-week devotional from TikTok, me and one of my homegirls, and I do it every night before I go to bed. So I'm in my word every night before I go to bed, and at the end of that week, I'm actually doing like a Q&A that's in the devotional. And that has been a part of maintaining my relationship with God this year, and it has felt so good. Like, oh my God, it just feels so good to live and to be me. I've seen my faith grow, and I'm going to, this is one of my experiences, but I seen a girl talk about this on TikTok, and I seen my faith grow to a space where I don't have to beg God in prayer. I bring up something one time in prayer, and then I begin to live as if it's already happening, or I start to prepare myself for it to happen. So I'm just really enjoying maintaining the relationship, and these are just the ways I do it, right? Scripture, prayer, going into church and being a part of community. Those are the ways that I've been maintaining my relationship. But you don't have to do it just like me, but I think it is something to maintaining that relationship with God. So now I don't have to just reach for him when I'm in dire straits, or when I'm hurting, or when something isn't going right. He's already there. You know what I'm saying? All I have to do is be like, you see this? And he'd be like, yeah, oh, come on. And we get it taken care of because the relationship is there. So hopefully you took something from this short, sweet conversation about maintaining the relationship with God. It's getting real old. Real old. Anyway, hopefully, like I was saying, you took something from this short and sweet conversation about maintaining your relationship with God, and it pushes you to continue to try God. Like, just try God, okay? Something else I do want to share before I let you go is in a sermon that Kevin preached, I think it was 3 weeks ago at this point, he mentioned how we will go to Google for a stabbing pain in the eye. This is random, and see what it is, and let Google tell us it's cancer, but also if you put a warm compress to it, it'll stop feeling that way. He mentioned how we'll do that, and how we need to take that same inquisitive nature about our health or what we're feeling, and do that with what our life is, what's happening in our lives, and find scriptures surrounding it. So if you're feeling unworthy, if you're feeling anxious, then Google scriptures for those things, and I'm telling you, Google will give you some scriptures for those things, some devotionals for those things sometimes, and it helps you work out those feelings, and before you know it, you don't even remember how you got to this point in Google, because God has already delivered you from that feeling. Use that, okay? And strengthen that relationship, maintain that relationship. I promise you, God is not going to steer you wrong. And I know I'm not steering you wrong right now, friend. So we'll talk soon, and I hope that you enjoy this.